5 seconds. Start. We have before us divergent findings in a prosecution initiated under Section 7 and 13(1)(d) read with 13(2) of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. The trial court convicted the accused and imposed a sentence of 2 years both under Section 7 and Section 13(1)(d) read with Section 13(2) to be suffered concurrently, along with a fine of Rs 10,000 and default sentenced under each of the two provisions. The High Court found that the prevaricating deposition of the complainant, who was examined as PW1, failed to establish the necessary ingredients to prove offences under both the sections, particularly the demand. We heard learned senior counsel appearing for the state who took us through the deposition of PW1 to argue that though inconsistent statements were made, there was sufficient oral evidence regarding the demand and the acceptance stood proved by the evidence of PW1 corroborated by that of PW2, an independent witness, and PW17, the officer who led the trap. The acceptance of the amount is admitted by the accused and the explanation offered was a deliberated falsehood. Learned senior counsel appearing for the respondent accused would first urge that the presumption of innocence available to the accused stands fortified by the order to acquittal passed by the High Court. The cross-examination is specifically read out to point out that the complainant had denied every line of his statement under Section 161 regarding the demand. The complainant was an authorized ration dealer (ARD) whose activities were subject to the control and supervision of the Civil Service Department through the Taluk Supply Office. The ARD are required to produce the weekly accounts before the Revenue Inspector (RI) in the Taluk Supply Office and get verified the abstract of the changes in the ration card every 3 months. The abstract is a copy of a register maintained at the Taluk Supply Office kept in the ration shop, which is required to verify by the RI and then the countersigned by the Taluk Supply Officer TSO. The accused was the TSO responsible for the ARD run by the complainant, who consistently refused to countersign the abstract and, as per the prosecution case, demanded a bribe of Rs 500, which was handed over pursuant to a trap laid. The High Court found that the demand was not established by the evidence of PW1 and one of the independent witness who had accompanied the complainant into the cabin of the TSO, wherein the handing over the notebook place had not been examined, thus creating a lacuna insofar as no direct evidence of a demand having been adduced. There was also no proof of an offer made by the complainant to the accused at the time of handing over, which in the absence of a demand is a necessary ingredient under section 7. The demand though alleged to have been made, the complainant turned hostile at the trial. These were the grounds on which the acquittal was ordered by the High Court. The deposition of the complainant PW1 in the translation has been read over to us, and that produced by the respondent accused in the vernacular was read by one of us who is conversant with the language. As per the deposition of PW1, when the abstract was produced before the TSO, who is the accused identified from the dog, he refused to so to do. Again, the TSO refused to countersign the abstract in the next week also, when the complainant was informed by other ration dealers that the TSO would countersign only if he is given a bribe which was specified to be ₹500. The statement made before the vigilance that there was a demand of ₹500 from the accused when confronted to PW1, though not denied the answer, was that the complainant was informed that the refusal of countersign was since he had not given a bribe. There were inconsistent statements made which we will come to a little later. The fact that complainant had approached the vigilance department was not denied. It was also the statement of PW1 that he had approached the vigilance department only because he was not willing to bribe the TSO to get the counter signature. The complaint having been made orally, it was taken down in hand by PW17, who read over the same to the complainant and the independent witnesses present, which stood confirmed as correct by PW1 as deposed by PW1. The pre-trap proceedings were in the presence of the independent witness, one an assistant engineer of the PWD Special Building Section and the other a special Tehsildar, the former of whom was examined as PW2. PW1 admitted having entrusted a note of ₹500 with the Deputy Superintendent of Police PW17 for laying the trap, the details of which were noted in a mahzar, after which the Deputy Superintendent of Police put his initial on it. The note was then covered with a powder, after which the effect of the powder coating on the test solution was demonstrated. The first information statement, which was the complainant taken down by PW17 was marked as Exhibit P1 and marked note was marked by MO1 before court. In fact, the High Court has noticed various portions in the deposition of PW1 where he admits the demand, especially certain portions of Exhibit P1. The demeanor of the witness in the box as discernible from the evidence recorded, especially his hesitant to make an answer immediately on a question being asked, was also noticed by the High Court. The evidence of PW2, it was observed by the High Court, was not impeached by a shred in the cross-examination by the defense. Despite these observations, the High Court chose to find no demand having been established according to us erroneously. The evidence of PW1 was pock-marked with inconsistent versions, but it is for the court to scrutinize the same and find out whether there is anything creditworthy enabling proof of the allegation raised, which was done by the trial court. Full stop.